Welcome to No Small Roles. This is the show where I speak with fellow actors about their careers and about some of their smaller roles in big movies and how those small roles were in fact not at all small for the actors who played them. Today's guest is Jami Tennille. Woo!
Thank you for having me, darling.
Thank you for joining. I'm so appreciative that you did this. Now, everybody, you may know Jami from a bunch of things. So like FBI and Dexter, the New Blood, or just New Blood, Chicago Med, Luckiest Girl Alive, a Netflix movie, and a bunch of indies too. I want to talk about that. But there's one huge project which I think played a nice part in your career. It's the Oscar winner, Manchester by the Sea, which you had a very, very, very beautiful supporting role in that. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.
Now I have an important question that I start every episode with.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Grilled cheese with or without tomato?
Oh God, I love them both. If I had to pick, it would depend on the season. If it was like a perfect, delicious summer tomato,
yeah,
grilled cheese and tomato all day.
What about this season right now?
Right now, just
yeah,
no tomato.
Okay, no, that's fair. No, I think I'm with you. And other additional question to that: fancy or not fancy cheese? Or and bread.
I love fancy cheese.
Yeah, oh, you're a fancy pants. Look, there's a fire behind you and everything.
Well, it's so hard.
Lots of wine.
You're in the mood for like just American cheese, like classic when you were a kid, right? Something comforting about that. But when you elevate it a little bit with some like cheddar or Gruyere, or it's just stretchy, yummy.
I respect that. I mean, I like it, the boring way with the wrapped plastic cheese, that one slice that my dogs beg me for.
Oh, yes. Hey, sometimes it's tried and true. You're making me hungry, Ian. You're making me hungry.
So we can eat, right? Do you have some cheese? You got wine. Might as well get some cheese.
I have cheese. I'll wait. I'll hold.
Now you seem like a sane person. So I have to ask you, why the hell are you an actor? Why?
All right. For anyone who actually is sane, I want to know the secret, because I feel like we all have a touch of madness. Acting is always something that I was always drawn to. And I did drama for a few years in high school, right? And then where my family, when I grew up, that was, a hobby you did. And then you went and got a job, right?
So you did theater in high school, like on a stage in front of people?
I was in drama club for, I think it was just 2 years. My school did not have a very large drama program. It was,
I didn't know this about you. I thought you were, I didn't know you had that foundation.
I was in a few plays in high school.
Any favorite role from your high school years?
Oh my goodness. I can't even remember. I can't even remember the play.
This was the 50s, right?
Yes.
Sorry.
So nothing stuck out. I remember it wasn't a great experience. Yeah.
Okay. It was not a great experience?
That program was not a great experience. No.
Okay. No. So but did you have a career before you really started focusing on acting, obviously after high school and all that?
Oh yeah. Jill of all trades, master of none, but I was a Spanish teacher at the elementary level for a number of years. And then I taught 8th grade Spanish and then had my babies. And I was home. Yeah. And I was home with my young guys and thinking, I need to do something for myself. What have I always wanted to do? And I was like, you know what? I have always wanted to act. I'm going to take a class.
Well, the world is fortunate that you did make that choice.
Yeah. So I took a class and the rest is kind of history. It just snowballed.
I have to say you are the most emotionally available actor that I know. You can bring the depth in a second, in a heartbeat. And I value that. I wish I could do a quarter of what you can do like that. So
I appreciate you saying that so much, Ian. In the world we live in, right, where to be emotional or to show your emotions, it's like we've learned all these mechanisms to function in society, to hold everything in have poise and handle situations. And that's one reason I love acting so much, is just this freedom to feel and express and be. And
do you find it's a therapy in a sense for you to release that stuff, or you have things to pull from, or it's organic though? It feels like it comes from a place.
Both. I mean, you use your experiences as a person, right? And your imagination and all of these things to feel that. What was the question?
No, I don't. Well, it's just, I was wondering, it was interesting. I'm just curious, do you pull that from something? Is it just like you're making it up as you go? Or you're like, I'm pulling from this experience and I can just tap into real life experiences like that, which a lot of people, I mean, I know, not to be sexist, but I'm the wimpiest guy in the world, but still I have trouble accessing that stuff sometimes.
It's more, it's very organic. Some things just resonate depending on where you are in your life, right? Like who I am today might not be who I am tomorrow, based on experiences or moods or all of that stuff. So sometimes some projects just hit you at a time where you are in that space emotionally to really relax into it and be and let how you are feeling flow.
Right.
Other times you really have to imagine, these situations and these stories that people go through and how that would exist and look, and honor those people's stories of how awful that would be. And I feel like I can empathize.
That's the very important thing about being an actor. I was speaking to this guy the other day, and he was talking about, now this guy, I don't want to get political, but there was this guy talking about Robert De Niro. He's like, I don't like Robert De Niro. Here he is on TV playing this guy that in real life he isn't at all. And, like he gets all political, but he's just an actor. And I said to this guy, I'm like, don't you understand? Actors have to be the most empathetic people to play even the worst kind of people and try to understand why this person acts like they do.
Yes.
So it's, I want to, so before we continue, there's a segment that we have coming up later in the show called Today's Kiss and Tell. Now, in one word, can you tease what your kiss and tell will be about?
My one word tease is block.
Block. Okay. I look forward to hearing more about that. Now, you, like me, we both work in a bit of television, not always the most rewarding roles, but let's talk about, well, actually, you've had some really nice roles in TV. For example, this one that I just showed. Let's go to talking about your emotional depth. Tell me what this role meant to you in just a second after I play this very clip.
Megan, wake up! Wake up! Megan!
Now, that is just a tiny snippet of what you do. I mean, that role is much bigger than that. But what did playing a role like this, what does that do for you? Do you find that helps your career? Does this give you more opportunities? Just in general, what does that mean to you?
Any opportunity to work and do your art and build connections and have experiences to grow from. I mean, of course, all of that is super beneficial. But
the amount of emotion you bring into that too, it's just like, that's heart-wrenching.
Well, heart-wrenching, right? This woman found her daughter overdosed on fentanyl and dead in the woods. Like, where, I mean, as a parent myself, that's just gut-wrenching.
Yeah, the worst.
Heartbreaking.
Imagine. Yeah.
And finding her.
Now, sorry, I'm kind of, now tell us about some of these other smaller roles that you've played on. Well, actually, you had here's an example. You were in this movie called Luckiest Girl Alive, opposite, what's her name?
Mila Kunis.
I want to know about that experience, because I know if anyone in the acting world that I know, there's one person. So you have that emotional depth, but no one I know in this business knows their worth better than you do. You know what you've earned, and you know how to say no to things. and you stand by that. And so how was this? Well, tell me about this experience working on Luckiest Girl Alive.
So Luckiest Girl Alive was a one-day day player role. We shot New York, right on Fifth Avenue.
Here you are.
And for anyone who has day player roles, right, on a film where, I mean, everyone had been shooting up in Toronto. They've been working on this for months. They've built relationships and they're a family, right? Mm-hmm. And you're coming in for one day, and it's everybody knows each other.
That's the hardest.
And it was one of those things where it felt like it just slipped right through my fingers. Like I was there and it was over and it was done. And I didn't really get a chance to meet anyone or really connect with anyone. I went in and I was really self-conscious about my outfit that I was wearing. And I was trying so hard to be a professional. All right. Don't think about the damn outfit. This is the outfit, she's wearing, because Mila Kunis is so gorgeous and she's in this blue dress.
You looked amazing.
Oh my God.
No, but these roles are like you said, like you go there, everyone knows each other. And I've had this conversation with Celeste and with Naheem. It feels like you're going to someone's Thanksgiving dinner and they all know each other, they're family. And you're just this person that walked in off the street and you sit down at the table and you would hope that they include you, but often they're focused on their own work. You're just the person that comes in to, screw in a light bulb. That's like, it's on that level sort of when you come in.
I'm so grateful to one of the wardrobe crew on that shoot because she was the one I was chatting with, and I was wearing heels that were hurt so bad. And in between takes, if they were, setting up longer than normal, she was right there and she had like a pair of slippers for me to put on so I could take my heels off. And I would be able to chat with her in between takes when everyone else knew each other. And I was just so grateful to have her on crew, and it's just one person that you can chat with and connect with, just to relax a little bit. And I had to get out of my head because I was feeling so self-conscious, but my character was like giving Mila Kunis the once over and like, completely opposite of what I'm feeling inside my body.
Yes, because they keep you separated. I mean, all actors have this option to sit in your trailer, so you're basically kept separate. And then they're like, okay, and maybe in an hour, in 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Oh, wait a minute, another hour. Oh, it's lunch. Hold on. We're going to do your scene after lunch. And an hour after lunch, they're like, okay, go. Come to set. You get to set. Okay, let's go. And you're like, oh my God, I've been in this little box and I just ate. So now I'm kind of drowsy. And I've been up since 4 a.m. and I'm tired, more tired, along with the food. And then go. It's hard. It's so hard. And on top of it, you're in the middle of New York City. And you have all these people are like, oh, that's Mila Kunis, and tons of people watching and extras and everything.
Oh, and New York is walking by, like, could care less. Like, they're in the shot. They're not like, and we had a hard out. Like, we just had a window of time we could be there, and then we had to wrap up and get off the sidewalk.
So holy pressure on the moment not to fumble, which we all do, of course. Not that you did. Let's go. Actually, I'm going to show that really fast, that clip, if you don't mind.
No, I don't.
This is Luckiest Girl Alive, starring Jami Tennille.
Tiffany Finale, right?
Yeah.
Sarah Gardner. I cover public health for Bloomberg.
Okay.
Gun control is under my domain. I've covered Dean Barton's career quite extensively. He's helped a lot of people over the years. Let's hope your 15 minutes of fame will too. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What a jerk. Yeah. Where do you get that from?
Oh, we all know those people, right?
No, exactly. There's plenty to take from now. I play those a lot.
Yes. Lots of experiences to draw from.
But how was she? Did she, not to get too personal, but did she break the ice with you? Was she cool?
I really didn't get a chance to interact with her.
Did she introduce herself?
Yeah, we were in hair and makeup together. And she was there, and I just remember it was really early. I remember having to get picked up at like 3 a.m., I think. And I remember, just being a little nervous and tired, right? I need coffee. Yeah. And she was in the makeup chair and she was so wide awake. She was just, I don't know if she's like, doesn't need as much sleep, but she was chatty and wide awake and talking with everyone. And I remember just being like, oh, wake up, Jami, wake up. Because I feel like I suck at small talk anyway. Like that, like, no, hey, like idle chit chat. Like, oh God.
And you know that person knows that you know who they are. So that's always like,
Right.
I don't want to fall into that trap and be that person.
No, I'm said good morning and just, yeah.
Have you ever been on a set, and this has happened to me a few times, where the actor, usually like a well-known actor, doesn't introduce themselves, and it's just like they look the other way, and then they're like, action, let's do the scene together. That's, for me, that's so awkward. Has that happened to you?
It is bizarre.
And if it hasn't, you're very lucky.
It must have, but I feel like it's, as I think about it,
yeah,
I think it's, everyone has their own process, and if they're working in a space and whatnot, I guess I just don't expect.
Yeah. I know a lot of these people are well known, so they're used to people trying to get a little bit of something out of them. And then, like you said, they have a process,
right?
Focus. But I think just the little "hi, nice to meet you," which normally does happen, and they break the ice. But when they just don't even look at you like you're not human.
Oh, I'm sorry you've had that experience. I feel like I've worked, just overall,
lucky ducky.
Just overall great people. I think everybody's, trying their best.
Now you came up, I think a lot of your experience, if I understand correctly, after you decided to get back into it, you did a lot of indie work. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh goodness.
What has that meant to you?
I mean, I really, what's the saying? Cut my teeth in indie, and was birthed by indie film, and
yeah,
really fell in love with the whole process of acting. And
do you think there's an element of freedom to it that you don't get maybe with, say, something like one of these TV shows or something?
Well, with indie, I mean, it's so different. Everyone is there because they're so passionate about the project. It's what they love to do. It's usually their escape from their 9 to 5 or whatnot.
Not about the money on any level.
Right. And there's creativity and collaboration, and with TV, it's like a well-oiled machine, right? They have it down. They know
that's the pressure.
You go in, you do your job, you get out. It's as far as collaboration or things like that, it's, you have your part, you go in,
yeah,
questions, sure, but hopefully not, and you just get it done. And yeah,
your job is just to make it easy, and they can, they don't want to be distracted by whatever we're doing in these shows, especially some of those smaller roles.
Right. You are a professional. You stay in your lane, you get your job done. Thank you very much.
Yeah. That's sometimes kind of tricky. And I think I'm starting, I haven't really done a ton of the indie world, but I'm starting to, especially with I haven't really.
I feel like we worked on indie together, didn't we? Yeah.
Oh, we did. And that was maybe one of my first ones.
No way. You were great in that.
Thank you. It's because of you I was. Yeah, that's true. That's how we really got to know each other.
Yeah.
But it's a world I'm just kind of more discovering. That was a short, and like more in the feature world, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so liberating.
One of my favorite projects was an indie film, and it was a feature film.
Yeah.
And my role, she was the lead in it, and
what was the title?
The Lost Within. And it's one of those films that I'm, it's just.
That's one like you're really angry and
went to festival, and just to like really just dig into a character and be on set for a few weeks and
make those connections we don't get to make.
Get to know cast and crew and really talk to the director and talk about the character and live in this woman's clothes and in this hotel. Like, it was just,
I remember.
One of my favorite experiences of my
I know that footage, and you are amazing in that. Really, you have fire in that character, if I'm thinking of the right one.
She's this meek woman, right? But to be able to shift and show her underbelly of, I don't know how to articulate it and do her justice right now.
I don't have that clip, but I want to show, because I have another small clip from another indie you did, and this is just.
Oh no!
No, For me, I don't know if this is a short or if it's a feature, but it's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. And I just want to show, like, again, your emotional depth and the freedom that this kind of work gives you.
After 12 years, I'd had enough. It took too much for too long. He could be very cold at times. I remember he would embarrass me at parties. Treat me like I was nothing. Like I was his own little jester. I never understood why. Maybe it was his father's influence. He had always been that way to him.
Yes.
So
a funny thing about that project is they, you know, with indie, sound is always make or break, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sound that we shot on that day, couldn't use. So I had to go into the booth and do ADR for that scene.
Is that ADR?
Yes. And I remember thinking,
You must have been pissed.
I was like, how am I going to match the day?
You can't tell. That's the idea, but
I watching myself experience it, you know how they show you the playback when you do ADR, helped because I could see her face and like see the emotion on her face. And I'm one of those people where if I see someone upset, I see someone crying, I usually cry, you know? So it's like, if that helped.
I like that you said see her face as if it's not you, but it kind of shows how you embody your characters. Mm-hmm. You can see them as that and empathize with them.
Right. She was going through some shit.
I hate it when I look at footage of myself. I'm like, I can see exactly what I was thinking. If I wasn't fully in character, I'm like, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about that.
I know that sometimes too. Sometimes I get frustrated. Do you hear actors who are like, I don't like to look at myself. I don't like to watch my projects. It's like,
yes. Often you hear that.
Right. It's like, how can you not learn about or what you're doing or see what you thought you were doing and how it was captured and grow from it and wonder, or also be proud of your work. Like, how much time did you put into that? And look at, you know.
True. I mean, I understand the sentiment of I can't look at my work because I feel weird looking at it because for the very reason that I can see what sometimes was on my mind. But like you said, we have to watch it, and especially with self-taping, we have to choose what take. Obviously, you don't want to do a ton of takes, but you get to choose from a few. You have to see yourself and know, oh wait, that's weird. That thing I'm doing is really strange. I need to adjust that. How are you with self-tapes and having to watch yourself? Do you learn from different takes, or are you like, bam, bam, I'm done?
I mean, at this point, I feel like when I shoot, if I can't get it in like 2 or 3 takes, I know I need to go back to the drawing board, and I can usually feel it. Like, I'm like, okay, done. Like that versus, so I guess kind of what you said, like 1, 2, done. It's like I've done the prep before, but I have to vent a little bit about self-tapes. Can I share it? Right?
I love them. I want to preface it with,
oh my God. So, I mean, I don't mind self-taping either, right? Like ever since the pandemic, it's been self-tapes. And I feel like as actors, we've invested a lot of time in learning how to light and get equipment and set up and
you're so good at that
and all of these things. So I get a self-tape request this week. All caps, do not use an actor background. Just film in your kitchen or your living room.
Oh.
And it's like, I have invested so much time and money into this damn setup.
I know. Let me use it.
I'm like, you want me to shoot in my living room now? I was like, just terrible. I was like, I'm not doing it. Shot in front of my screen, took out the background and put like a picture of the living room.
Oh, good. You did do it.
I was like, no.
I know, because then you're like, I know I have to clean the background. My background covers all of that mess.
Does that ever happen to you now where they're like, do not use your backdrop and everything that you've been practicing with for the last 5 years that we asked you to do?
No.
Do it in your living room.
I would kind of love that, though I would have to clean a little bit, probably move dogs and children out of the way. But, well, first I want to say also, congratulations. You had an opportunity in this very bizarre time.
Oh, right.
Business. So that must have been like,
I mean, just to get any audition, it's fun to, you know, shake off the rust and dive back in and have another casting office to your work. And
yeah, that's true. It's not about, like, we don't hear about, after our audition.
I might not have made any fans with my.
No, I get that.
Picture of the living room.
A lot of people hate. A lot of people hate self-tapes. I love it because, the distraction of trying to get, say, into the city and get on the train. It's raining, or if it's really hot and you're sweaty, you get into the waiting room and there's very chatty people, or like I'm being right now, or a lot of nervous energy and people are sharing it with each other and it's hard to focus. You can't like practice your lines before the audition. I don't miss any of that. I love the solitude of my basement.
See, I can relate, and there are a lot of pros, but I would give up all of the pros of self-taping to have one of those moments back in the room when you can, you did well, and you can feel like everyone really enjoyed what you were doing and the director enjoyed what you were doing.
Feel it.
And it just feels so good.
Yeah, that's true. But there's also those experiences when you leave the room, you're like, oh my God, you didn't react at all.
You're in your car, like beating the steering wheel. What the hell did I do?
And then those are the ones we book.
Right?
Yeah. There was one, I remember you had a self-tape. It may have been for this FBI or for your Chicago Med. Here's a picture of the Chicago Med. And you had a couple of us jump online to record with you. You maybe did 1 or 2 takes. You just were like, I'm going to do it, get it out. I'm not going to overthink it. And you booked it.
Yeah.
I'm
so happy.
And why do you think, my guess, before you say, my guess is that the not carrying it or overthinking it, they could see it in your tape. They saw the natural, fresh energy and that you weren't so calculated and you lived in the moment. Why do you think you got it?
I think my first thought is I remember feeling really anxious because I think there were 3 of you helping me with that tape.
Yeah, I think so, because there were a lot of characters. Yeah.
There were so many people in the scene. I had a few eye lines in the scene. And I remember being really kind of, when we tape with people, I always want to make sure that I don't.
You don't want to take their time.
Waste anyone's time, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to get it down, and I started to feel frustrated. And I kind of just took what I was feeling and used it. And I felt like it was just kind of organic in the moment, where it was like frustrated to the point of like almost tearing up, where it was like, it was such a great opportunity and I wanted to make sure I got it right and do this woman justice and all of those things. And I think just the embodiment of it all made sense to cast.
I learned a lot from that. Like seeing you do that, I did, because I was like, I was so impressed how quickly you did it. It had some roughness around the edges, even just the way with us reading with you, we weren't smooth, and you just passed it in.
Great.
And you found out what's that?
You guys were great.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the other guys, but you booked it so quickly. I'm like, wow, I learned a lot just being in the moment, not overthinking it, just get it out. And that paid off. Now there's one really big movie I have to talk about. I know this is called No Small Roles, but you worked in a film that was huge, which I teased earlier in the show, called Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah.
Winner of 2 Oscars. I want to first talk about how this came about. Tell us.
That was just such a heartbreakingly beautiful film. Amazing director.
What's his name? Kenneth
Lonergan.
Oh,
so great.
Don't you call him Kenny?
Kenny.
You do.
Such a love. Oh my goodness. That's Carolyn Pickman at CP Casting called me in to audition for that. I went in, I auditioned, and it was a tough scene. There was a lot of action, and you're supposed to be bandaging him and making tea, all of this stuff.
Yeah, holding a baby.
Right, and in the audition room, you're standing there. It's just you, to not to make it look awkward and everything.
Yeah.
And
this was in person, correct?
In person. Yeah. And I remember leaving the audition going, well, that was awkward. Yeah, that was not my best work. I just felt weird.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 weeks later. I got called back in again. I'm thinking it's a callback, right?
Yeah.
I go in, and Carolyn's assistant at the time, Kyle, he was like, Jamie, didn't you already audition for this? I was like, yeah, callback. He's like, come in, just come in.
Oh no.
And I was like, all right. And I remember thinking it was so awkward the first time. I was like, no, this doesn't work. These audition sides are, I'm like, I am just improvising and winging it. And here we go. And then, yeah, I got the call that I booked it, but it was one of Kenny's friends was supposed to be in it. I can't remember her name, and she wasn't able to do it.
Wait, was that, but what was that? These were different sides they gave you when you went back in?
No, same sides.
Oh, okay. So he just let you audition for it again? Is that? That's so weird, but cool.
I mean, I was there. He probably was just like, whatever.
Well, that's nice to have another swing at it.
Yeah.
So you said a friend of, I'm going to say Kenny.
Yes.
Okay.
A friend of Kenny's was supposed to have the role, but then she wasn't able to film, to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, just the stars aligned in the universe for me.
Were you a fan of his work before? Did you know his work? Like, You Can Count on Me, right? That's
yeah. And Margaret, I believe. I wasn't. I know he was a screenwriter and did a lot of theater, stage plays and whatnot. And I remember he came in when I was getting hair and makeup done, and he's so soft-spoken and gentle and kind and caring, and just made me feel really relaxed on set and comfortable.
And when we do these movies, we don't know what they're going to become. You don't know if this is going to be some huge Oscar-nominated film or it's going to get any attention. So that's just the icing on the cake. But can you tell me more about how it was? Actually, I'm going to show a clip. Do you mind? And then we'll go into, so people know what we're talking about. Actually, there's two scenes. I'll show the first one, and then we'll get into the more emotional one.
Okay.
And this goes to show just how freaking natural you are on screen. Here's scene one.
Hey, Janine!
What?
Forget it. Skip it.
I can't hear a goddamn word you say.
What?
Did Lee get food?
He didn't. What?
Did Lee get food?
No. He doesn't want any. We're good. Forget it. He doesn't.
Is that all scripted, or is that improv? Is it like?
Yeah, we were improvising a whole bunch.
It's so good. It's so natural. Was he just like yell across the room, or just like play it as you want?
I remember we did a whole bunch of takes, and I remember being like, does he eat cheese? Does he want cheese? Does he want a sandwich? Like all different things.
And in that scene, Casey Affleck, he's pretty emotionally reserved, right? Has he? I haven't seen it for a while. The tragedy all came sooner in the film, correct?
Right.
Okay.
This was, yeah.
Oh wait, this is like after the funeral, right?
This is his brother.
Okay. I need to see it again. I loved it when I did see it.
You're thinking of the tragedy. Are you thinking of?
That comes later, right? Or that's earlier?
That's where it's.
Sorry, Kenny.
Are you talking? Well, his loss of his children and whatnot, that was earlier. And now he has come back for the funeral of his brother.
Okay, because that's what it's all about. Him with this huge weight coming back to this town where he had this huge tragedy. I remember.
Yes.
Thank you, Kenneth. So what was it like working on this film? Of course, he was very nice. He was very soft-spoken. But what did this mean to you at the time? Were you like, this is going to help my career?
Absolutely. I was just elated. I mean, with this film, I was able to join SAG, which had been a goal of mine, and I was so excited about. Go ahead.
And this came after a lot of the indies you had done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and this led into that. So again, this is an indie.
4 or 5 years of working on indies.
Okay.
And industrials and commercials and lottery commercials.
Industrials are the hardest work in all the world.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Okay, so you came into this, you're on this set, and you're like, this is a ton of pressure, or did he make you comfortable and make it not feel like pressure?
It was a dream. It really was. I don't remember feeling pressure. I just remember the whole cast, crew, everybody just created an atmosphere where we just trusted what was going to happen, trusted each other. And even the other scene was not scripted that way. It was just like that magic, right? Where you just
Can you build up into what that scene is, and then I'll play it? What's happening, and lead us into it, and then I'll play it.
Yes, he has just gotten the shit kicked out of him. And I am helping take care of him on the couch. And
Who are you to him?
Coming to. So his brother's best friend's wife.
Okay.
So his nephew is friends with our kids, and we actually take care of him in the end, the son.
Spoiler alert. Thanks.
Or he lives with us. Yeah, I feel like I'm not doing the story justice.
No, you are. No, you are. Don't.
And he's right. He's so human.
Okay, well let's jump into it. Here is a beautiful scene with Jami Tennille.
Should he go to the hospital?
I don't think so. Nothing's broken.
They fucking hit him with a baseball bat.
They all just said he started swinging.
Where's Patrick?
No.
Oh,
Wait,
please sit down.
Sit down,
It's
please,
all right.
for Christ's sake.
I made you some coffee. Come here. Drink this.
Come on, buddy.
Just have a little.
Oh my gosh. And that's trimmed down. The scene's much longer than that.
Mm-hmm. So we had done it a few times. We'd run it. And then this time, yeah, his emotions tipped over, and
You didn't know.
I didn't know that he was going to start crying or like lean into me or any of that. And it was just like,
It's just natural to you to hold him and react to what he was doing.
Yeah.
And that's you again being emotionally available and just, going with your flow. I mean, it's beautiful work.
It felt really good. I remember, of course, as actors, we overthink after, and we're like, oh, this, that, or, analyzing everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I am really happy with how that unfolded. And I remember even after we shot that take, I went over and Kenny was like, Jami, that hug.
Oh.
It was like,
no, it was like you were cradling him like a mom. It was really beautiful. After you did the scene, did you talk to Casey Affleck about it at all, or was it just like
I
don't know what's his process?
I'm trying to remember if we talked about that scene specifically, but it was, he was just really great. Like even before, when he's laying on the couch, right, and before we start shooting, I was teasing him because the man, he had a Champion sweatshirt in like every color. I was like, I haven't seen this many Champion sweatshirts since like an 8th grade school dance. Like, holy shit. So we were joking, and
maybe that's why he cried. It's so mean. Don't make people cry.
But it was just a great experience. Great cast, great crew. Everyone was fantastic.
Now, of course, when this film it got critical acclaim, were you like, oh wow, this is going to be it? This is going to launch my career. What did you think this was?
Of course, as a naive actor, we're like, this is it, right?
No.
The more you realize, like, oh, it's a building block. And I didn't know what I didn't know as far as promotion and talking about it. And I had a lot of stuff going on in my own life personally that I was dealing with. Divorce and whatnot, so that was, I couldn't focus on
just light stuff.
Yeah. So as far
as
really making the most of it and going to sell, the film festivals and whatnot, with the benefit of hindsight in 2020, I'm like, I should have done all of that. There's so much more I should have done.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I didn't know, and the experience in and of itself was just one I treasure. So however it unfolded or has unfolded is good.
And I think it has led to opportunities for you and opened some doors, though maybe you don't always feel that way. Do you think?
It's one of those things where it's like, I'm really proud of that work. No one can ever take that away from me. And yeah, if it resonates with someone or is, helps me get seen for something, fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I mean, two of my most rewarding experiences in the business, you don't see me in either of them.
Oh, tell me.
Well, one, I mean, I don't want to talk about me, but one is The Judge. I think I mentioned it on the show before, where I had this great scene with Robert Downey Jr. I'm in the jury, and they cut my scene, my piece, where I actually had this great argument with him, and that was like, in a sense, it was kind of devastating.
Yeah.
And then this other one was working on Julia as
I remember this.
David Hyde Pierce's twin, and that was amazing because it was the most amazing crew. Which it sounds like this experience was similar. Just the people that were gathered together and were doing something meaningful and cared that they were there.
Yes.
That makes all the difference.
It does. I mean, I'm sure you hear people talk about like getting the blues after a wrap, right? Because you build connections, and it's just beautiful magic when you're all working on something creatively together. And when it's over, it's
Then again, like you said, they can't take it away. It is there. We can see it. And I mean, I know for me, and I don't know if you felt this way, sometimes when you get these huge opportunities, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm working with these people with such experience and such power. And I know in the past, I've been like, oh my God, this is pretty intense. I hope I get hit by a car before I shoot. I have COVID, so they won't hire me. And then after the experience is over, you're like, I did that.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what this was like a little bit, or maybe you didn't have that fear?
I feel like, to reframe for you, I feel like that's the kind of person you want to work with, right? As someone who's like, oh God, I'm nervous. I want to do a good job. I want to bring so much. I want to try different things. I just want to serve the project versus the other end where it's like, oh, here I am, right? I'm here bestowing my presence upon everyone, and it's going to be fantastic and clean, right? It's like, who would you rather work with? And I've been fortunate enough to work on so many projects where people are there to serve the project and serve the creativity and tell a story and, get to know one another.
I think that's sort of, I know for me, I got in the union back in '99, but I hadn't been super serious about my acting until maybe like 15 years ago. And I think coming into it later, not to say it's survival of the fittest, but I think still having that excitement of not knowing what the next thing is going to be, where this could lead. Often it leads nowhere, but to still have that passion and excitement, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. We need those, dopamine hits?
Oh, exactly. And we don't get them frequently in this business, but when we do, it's like, ah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, having your experience in the business, is there any advice that you would give to anyone up and coming? Any sort of advice that you're like, this is something I wish I had known?
Oh, goodness.
And I know you have taught in the past. Is there something that you think some people that you have taught have found really valuable? And no pressure.
Yeah, I guess just immediately some of the stuff that comes to mind is, one, stay true to your art and your creativity and your voice. Don't get lost in the bullshit of, social media and promotion and all this stuff. Really continue to work and develop and challenge yourself in your craft. Really sieve the shit, right? When you're starting out, there's a lot of
sieve the shit. That's a good. I'm gonna rename the show.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of big talk. It's like, make sure people can walk the walk, get all the information, know where you're going, research production, research directors, research projects, really, really do your due diligence. And just enjoy it, because it's really, there can be so much space in between projects, right?
Yeah. Oh.
So figure out, or really just be present in the time you're there, and also find ways to connect yourself to your art in between. That's really important to like buoy your artistic and actor soul, right? Mm-hmm. Find people to have creative dates with, get in class.
Which we do.
Yes. All of these things to sustain you is important.
Yeah. I like the sieve the shit. I'm renaming the show, everyone. Stay tuned.
Ta-da.
And I think, what I kind of gather from you is, be open to say yes, but don't be afraid to say no.
Yeah, really.
Know your value, which is a huge takeaway from me knowing you.
Absolutely, because you don't want to get in over your head or feel taken advantage of or be giving so much time and energy that it drains you. It doesn't reward you.
Yeah, I get it. No, that's
Mhm.
perfect advice. Now, do you have any, before you get on set, before any of these projects, do you have any hocus pocus, something that relaxes you, something that gets you ready to roll, or you just jump in? No hocus pocus.
I mean, I'm thinking like, you know, when I'm in my trailer, I'll go over my sides. I'll usually talk to a friend, make a phone call to kind of center myself. I always have my notebook with me so I can write and journal a little bit if I'm super stressed, just to get it out of my head.
Our friend Anna do that too.
Yeah, I mean, that helps kind of like declutter my head and get me focused and not snacks.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, really? Snacks. Well, that's true. You don't want to go kind of delirious and hungry and dehydrated, but you don't want to have to pee in the middle of a scene.
I mean, I always feel like I have to pee right before. It's like fight or flight or something, right?
Especially when you don't know when they're going to call you to set. I'm like, I'll pee again. I'll pee one more time.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so no official hocus pocus.
No, nothing that it's like, you know, I wear the same socks or any of that crazy like baseball bullshit or whatever.
Okay.
Do you?
No, I have no. I always hear people having this hocus pocus. I met with a nice casting director to do a preparation for a role, and she did, in all due respect to her, she did some crazy kind of hocus pocus preparation for this role to have me go through, and I'm like, that's so weird.
Like what?
I don't know if I want to say it in case.
Oh, is that weird?
It was nothing offensive, but for me it was like super weird. Like, visualize this person, and now this person you're holding, like, it's not your own person, but it make up a new person, and this person is that person, and you see this person, what are they doing? They don't look like your person, and it was so weird. And then this person's in this situation.
Okay.
It was so bizarre for me, and I understand it's maybe an acting exercise, but it was like,
yeah, it sounds like an acting exercise. And I guess, you know, even before like a real emotional scene, right?
Yes, that's what it was.
I asked, and the director on FBI was fantastic. Yangzan Brown was so good.
What's the name?
Yangzan.
Oh, Yangzan. Okay.
She was fantastic. And I asked her, I was like, it would be really helpful if I know when we're going to do this scene. I'm like, if I could just have like just a few minutes before, just to kind of get in my body and get where I need to be, that would be great. And she was like, absolutely. Because even before we started, we were doing some walkthroughs and some shoots from different angles.
Yeah.
And she came up to me and she was like, save it. Like, I was working too hard in those, or she was like, no, don't put yourself through this.
Yeah.
She was really great.
I had this audition where the casting director, this was for Madam Secretary, and I did it was like a callback sort of, and he said, fill the pot, fill the emotional pot. And it was like, the visual was really good. That helps me like fill the pot of emotions and then let it out. Don't just jump into it. So that was cool. And also in this film that I worked on with Anna last year, they gave me that time to go put in some AirPods, step aside, listen to some really sad music. So I guess that is some hocus pocus that we both have done.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I like having some space before a real emotional scene to kind of connect to what's going to bring me there.
And I think the important thing is to ask for that.
Yes.
It will serve them and it will serve you.
Exactly. And I can't speak highly enough of Yangzan. She was fantastic.
I love having good directors. They're often good. But.
She's so talented. She has a documentary now in South by Southwest this year that's premiering about her grandmother who left Tibet, and she wrote a book. I mean. Do
you know the title? No Pressure.
Yeah, I want to say it's Mola. M-O-L-A.
Okay.
Something.
I don't want to give this. I don't remember her name. I can't believe you don't remember. Don't worry about it.
Let me see if she put it, because I'm like, now it's going to bug me. Because it's the book she wrote. Everything is just so good.
I'm going to put pictures of you. There you are in Chicago Med. there you are in Dexter New Blood. And you worked with Joey Pants.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, it is called Mola. It's Mola, A Tibetan Tale of Love and Loss. It's at South by Southwest this year.
Very cool. Thank you for letting us know. Now, coming back to this very important segment, brought to you by The Ejectables, another YouTube show. We have today's Kiss and Tell. Now, you said your word is block. Can you share your Kiss and Tell, Jamie?
So I worked on Dexter New Blood.
I've heard of it.
Yes. Played Principal Strode. And I was in my trailer and they were running really behind.
Okay.
To the point where I fell.
What happens?
Right. It happens all the time. To the point where I fell asleep. Like, had already gone through hair and makeup, in wardrobe, fell asleep.
I'm impressed in that condition, in those conditions, but
right. Which, I mean, that's the first and the only time I think I've ever slept in my trailer. And I remember like you hearing the knock on the door, and my hair is like all messed up, and get to set, and I'm trying to like come back to life, right? Like, hey, here, ready to go. And I could tell it was tense on set. Like everybody was tired. It had been a long day. And they were like, we're going to block shoot this. Are you okay with that? I was like,
what's block shooting?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what block shooting is. Shit. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch and learn. Sink or swim, bitch. Here we go. Like, oh my God. So yeah, block shooting is where we film 2 different scenes, but the same camera angle.
Okay.
So it's like we shoot the 2 scenes, different time, right? It's like,
and costume changes.
No, I'm wearing the same.
Okay, same thing. Okay.
Same day, but say it's like morning and afternoon.
Okay.
So like stuff on the desk was different, and they had to come in and like reset everything in between, and so we're bouncing back and forth in time. Yeah. Okay. All right, we can do that. We can do this. So, oh my goodness. So the scene, I'm there at my desk. Michael is in one seat, Jack is in the other.
Michael C. Hall. Okay.
And I had the first line. So,
after napping.
Right. Go through already. I'm like, oh, I got this. They call action. And it was like an out-of-body experience. I couldn't formulate a thought. I didn't know where I was. Like it was just deer in the headlights. And they waited, and they're all like looking at me, and I'm just like,
oh, and you feel those eyes.
I was like, if I could just burst into a murder of crows right now, it would be fantastic.
I'm glad you didn't.
So they're like, cut. Scripty runs over, and she's like, and I'm like, oh. And as soon as I yell cut, and then it was like there were all the lines again, right?
You're like, no, I know my lines.
Oh my God, I felt like the biggest asshole. So I'm like, okay, I know we're good. So we sit again, and they're kind of like chatting, and Michael's just there, like looking down in his lap, and I look over at him, and he just like looks up at me, and I was like, please tell me that this has happened to you before. He goes, all the time. I was like, oh my God. Him just saying that and being present with me in that moment and being so kind when I know he had a very long day and stress. Oh, I could have hugged him. It was great. And yeah, we jumped back in and we knocked it out. And
that's nice Thanksgiving dinner behavior. Warming up the guest that's there. I'm going to go so people have a visual for the scene you're talking about. Here is Dexter New Blood.
In just 1 year, he went from a 3.8 down to a 1.2, then back to a 3.0. Why is that?
I'm not exactly sure.
My stepmom died.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So is that why you moved from Argentina to Miami?
Yep.
So who did you move to Miami with?
I was placed in the foster care system.
Foster care? And where were you?
That look you shoot him, foster care. Like, thanks for telling me. That's
really. We were doing the run through, the rehearsal before I delivered that last line, and Jack turned to me and he's like, Did everyone just feel the energy get sucked out of the room? Oh my God.
It's so good. Now, lastly, I want to ask you, is there anything that anyone that you would love to work with, a film, a director that you would love to do, not do a director, I'm sorry, a director you'd like to work with? We all have a director we'd like to do. Not true, honey. I'm kidding. I'm not calling you honey, my wife.
Oh my goodness.
This got so weird. But is there a job that would be your dream job?
Oh my goodness.
And no pressure. If not, then
yeah, there is. I feel like the pressure because I'm like, oh God, there's so many women roles, people I would love to embody and stories I would love to tell. I mean, I would. It would be a dream to work with Kenny again. It would be a dream to work with Yang Zom again. She was fantastic.
What the hell is Kenny doing? No offense, Kenny.
Kenny just had a play last year.
Okay.
With Adam Driver.
Oh, that No Name?
What the hell is the name of the play? Now it's blanking on me.
No pressure. They can Google it.
Well, I know he had that. And he was in Ripley. He played the dad in Ripley. So he's been doing that.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He was acting. They shot over in Italy.
When's he making a movie, though?
I know.
All right. Pressure. And hire Jami for this thing.
Hopefully soon.
Well, thank you, Jami, for doing my little show.
Absolutely, Ian. Lovely chatting with you, as always.
You rock. The most emotionally available actor I know who knows her worth, Jami Tennille. Jami, is there anything you want to promote or talk about that's coming up, or just they can Google you, IMDb you, and keep an eye out?
Yeah, just cheers, everybody. Hope everybody's doing all right and having some joy in their life, and do your art.
You rock. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is No Small Roles with our guest, Jami Tennille. Please like, comment, share, or do whatever. But commenting's cool. Here's our end theme, and then we'll wrap it up. Thanks, everybody.